Twins snapped their 4-game losing streak. Game 2 in Boston. Final score 4-3. Bailey Ober, he picks up his second win in the last week. Full deep dive coming up next on the Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast. Your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Twins snapped their 4-game streak. What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Twins postcast right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Got my main man, Sweet Lou Hennesey. Give him a follow on X at Sweet Lou MN. Twins expert over at Zone Coverage MN. Lou, they finally got on the board, right? They snapped their 4-game skid. Bailey Ober really heating up. And it wasn't a lot, but they got just enough run support to get it done. Does this team, do you think, big picture, have the talent, kind of have the makeup to just stay afloat until they get guys like Royce Lewis back? Hopefully on Tuesday we'll talk about that. But guys like Willie Castro, etc. Or does this season just feel different, I guess, this year, and not in a good way?
Look, I think it definitely does feel different and not in a good way, but that doesn't mean that that's the story for the rest of the year. They're going to have to prove it. They're going to have to go out and say, hey, we know we're a lot better than how we've been performing, which is, of course, what they've been saying for the last 5-6 weeks here. But eventually they're going to have to go out and prove it. And today was a good step in the right direction, because going in to Boston on Sunday, trying to avoid a sweep against Garrett Crochet, which our friends at Prize Picks are probably telling us he's one of the lead contenders to be the American League Cy Young this year. That's a very tough assignment. And every assignment is going to be tough from here on out if they want to climb out of their hole. Things look pretty dire if you're coming off a sweep.
For sure. Yeah. Theo brought up Crochet and why today was kind of a must-win situation. And we'll talk about that Game 3 preview later on. Plus, Bailey Ober's rock-solid day on the mound. Royce Lewis returns Tuesday. We'll talk about what that impact means. But first, quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time, download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 off your first purchase. All right, so quick little recap. Again, Twins trying to snap this 4-game losing streak. Game 2 versus Boston. Bailey Ober on the mound. Dude's been on fire. At least his last 2 start. Rock solid once again. 6 innings. Sure, 7 hits, but just 1 earned run. That's most important. And 6 Ks on the day to 1 walk. 6-to-1 K walk ratio on 94 pitches as well. It's a 1-1 game in the 6th. Cody Clemens hits a 2-run bomb. Same inning, Larnach drives in Bader. That makes it 4-1. Next inning, though, bottom 7, Boston. They score 2, and now all of a sudden we're sweating. Because as we know, as Twins fans this year, 1-run games, that makes it tough. So 4-3 game, bottom 9, Johan Duran comes in. Got a little dicey. First man got on base, but nonetheless, he gets it done. 14-20 now on the year, 6 games below 500. Biggest takeaways, your 8 topics, I guess. What stuck out the most from tonight's game?
Boy, this was a tense one. It was really, I was very relieved to be on the other end of it. We've seen so many just heartbreaking, back-breaking losses in recent weeks here. And I think everybody was kind of expecting, once it got to that Duran matchup in the 9th, there was like, oh boy, here we go again. Luckily, our boy, Johan Duran, he came through. Like you said, it was a little dicey there, but that's kind of the closer experience. I don't think there's a closer in the game who's just lickety-split 1, 2, 3 every single time out. I've been very impressed with Duran, especially with some of the concerns with his velocity that they had coming into this year. I think that he's really showed out. That says he's in a healthy spot and he's very effective, and he added that slider, which has been absolute bones for him. So my biggest takeaway was just that they were able to close it out. That's something that we haven't been able to see too often in recent weeks.
It's something that good teams do, right? Yes. Something that good teams know how to do, close out those tight games, which, again, Twins have not been very good at this.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
So I'll just reiterate it. Again, 1-1 game in the 6th. Cody Clemens hits that 2-run home run. Larnach adds 1 more. He drives in Bader, 4-1. Next inning, Red Sox score 2. And again, that's when everybody really started to tense up a little bit. What was the turning point, in your opinion, from your lens in tonight's game?
I think we got to go with the 6th inning there. I mean, what a moment for Cody Clemens. I don't know if he's long for this roster necessarily, but what a great moment that he was able to get that home run at Fenway Park, his first game, his first start ever at Fenway with his dad in attendance and his whole family. That was really cool. And especially it came at a really prime moment for the Twins, a moment that they've been lacking so often lately. They've just been a powerless club, especially when it gets to the back half of a ball game. Really cool moment for Cody. I'm not sure what it means for his Twins career going forward, but we'll take it for today.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
So you got an opportunity to double down here. Who's your MVP today, Lou? 4-3 win. Again, Twins snap this 4-game losing streak. Who's your MVP tonight and why?
I think we still got to give it to Bailey Ober. I mean, all that great moment aside for Cody Clemens, Bailey Ober and the rest of the starting rotation just have not gotten their flowers as much as they should have because of the lineup's inability to get the lead and the bullpen's, I guess I could say, inability to be exactly perfect every single night. And unfortunately, that's come back to bite the rotation, who are desperately waiting for some wins there. So really good on Bailey Ober to plow through 6 innings there and show that he's the dog. He's the dog in the rotation right now. That's been pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's been lights out. A lot of fun to watch him. It feels like he's crescendoing up right now. Too.
Yeah.
Just absolutely peaking right now, which has been a treat to watch for sure as these twins arms start to kind of heat back up in general, the starting rotation for sure. Again, just waiting for the bats to heat up as well. Plenty more deep dive, including Royce Lewis's eventual return. Sounds like maybe Tuesday. We'll talk about that. It's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return. $250 in bonus bets guaranteed when you hit your first $5 wager. Why I love FanDuel? When you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can go check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play, all on the same page where you're placing your bets. Again, $250 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Get in some MLB future action while you're there. Twins sitting at plus 290 right now to win the AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $250 in bonus bets guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Nerdy stat of the daytime. You got any crazy stat or fun analytic Twins related? You weren't here last night, obviously. It was me and Theo. I busted out a nerdy stat, and maybe you saw this from Dan Hayes on X. When the Twins score 3 or less runs this year, 0-17 on the year. So what do you got? How do you follow that up there?
Well, kind of going into that, I guess you could say a little bit. They were talking about this on the broadcast, especially in the late innings today. Just, I feel like myself, along with so many Twins fans, so many people in Twins territory that have been watching, get this uneasy feeling late in games, even though the bullpen has done a mostly respectable job throughout the year. But it's because their run differential against their opponents is -14 in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. So late innings, late and close situations, which we've found this team to be in more often than not, and they've been outscored by 14 runs. That's tough to get through, but luckily tonight they didn't extend that to 16 runs, and they got a win out of it. So we'll take that for sure.
For sure. Royce Lewis tentatively back on Tuesday. Tentatively, no official word, but this whole process as we got closer and closer the last week or two feels like he's supposed to, barring a setback of some kind, he's supposed to join the team for the Orioles series. Again, Game 3 tomorrow with Boston, day off Monday. Hopefully Royce is back for this Orioles series. What kind of ripple effect do we see then in the infield and the lineup when he does in fact, start these games here soon? What's the domino effect, I guess, on the other end?
I think you're first of all, I'm knocking on wood desperately right now. I'm hoping that he's back early next week, if all goes as planned. However, the Saints have gotten rained out in like 7 of their last 10 games or something crazy like that. Like they've had so many rainouts in the last few weeks. So they might want to get Royce a couple back-to-back games before bringing him back. But it sounds like he's feeling good. His swing's looking good. His legs are feeling good. So hopefully he's back next week. And when that does happen, it means he's starting, I imagine, mostly at DH with some games at third base too. And when that happens, maybe Brooks Lee goes over to second base. Kind of shores up the infield. I got to think in the long term. Probably less playing time for guys like Jonah Bride, for Cody Clemens. A lot of different guys have been mixing into the DH mix as of late. A lot of Ryan Jeffers. I think you're still going to see a lot more Royce Lewis in the DH slot when he is ready to return. Hopefully next week. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense, though, for sure. The names you threw out there, I got to think those are the types of names I think of first that would be on the short end of the stick once Royce comes back. Don't go anywhere. Quick preview, Game 3. That's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, tonight's episode brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, now with more than 10 million members to date. And for me and my money, it's just by far the easiest. It's the most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. It's so simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more players' stats. You watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season, 5 weeks into the year, it could be strikeouts. It could be RBIs, home runs, stolen bases, you name it. They got it. Take your pick on more or less. Add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay. Quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, you kind of teased this at the top, but Game 3 tomorrow, Chris Paddock on the mound versus Garrett Crochet, who's been absolutely lights out this year. Still hasn't registered a win yet at Fenway Park, I saw earlier this afternoon. Nonetheless, though, tough matchup here for the Twins. They're still desperate, even after a win tonight, desperate to keep this momentum going. What's your biggest keys or things you're looking for from the Twins specifically tomorrow?
If they can come back home on Tuesday after a week, with devastating losses against Cleveland and have a 3-4 record on the week, that means a lot more than a 2-5. It seems minimal, but I think the perception is really important as things start heating up here and hopefully guys start getting more and more healthy. So coming away with the series would be absolutely huge just for team morale, which is running on fumes at this point. You can see it in the guys. You can see it in the manager. I mean, nobody's having fun with how things have been recently. So, and the story's not going to be written in 1 week. So it's going to be, piece by piece, day by day, series by series. It's going to mean a lot if they can come through tomorrow, especially for someone like Chris Paddock, who had that one blow up in Chicago and has since been a pretty respectable starting pitcher. I want to say his ERA and all the rest of his starts evens out to somewhere in the mid 3s. You would gladly take that from a number 4, number 5 starter every day. So hopefully that's the one that shows up tomorrow.
What else is going on around the league? Almost 5 weeks into the season, still small sample, I know, but big scheme. What else has surprised you the most, been on your radar? Maybe one good, one bad, a team, a specific player, whatever it may be.
I think we're starting to see on a lot of other teams too, injuries popping up. Unfortunately, we saw one of the faces of this generation, Mike Trout, go back on the injured list. It seems every year that around this time he winds up with something. So we're seeing more and more stars kind of needing that break right now. I'm not sure what it says about just the length of the season for MLB or just the rate at which they play their games here, but hopefully more and more stars can stay on the field, because that's what fans are coming out to the ballpark and paying all this money so that they can see from home.
All right, Twins snapped their 4-game skid. Final score today in Boston, 4-3, 14-20 now on the year. That's 6 games below 500. Game 3 tomorrow. Huge shout out, though, to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go check out all of Lou's work on X at SweetLouMN, plus all the work he's always ripping over at ZoneCoverageMN.com as well. Anything new? I haven't asked you in a while. Anything new as of late we can go check out? You've been working on Twins related up over there?
Yeah, it's good timing for me to bring this up now. I just wrote about Joan Duran earlier this week. I want to say it came out on Tuesday. Just talking about how he's got this perception, or people have this perception of him being kind of a one-trick pony who only throws really, really hard fastballs. It's not true at all. We're seeing some of his other weapons come out now, and luckily, like tonight, it was he was able to reel in a win with it.
Ah, love that. That's awesome. Can't wait to go check that out. Again, that's up over at zonecoverage.com. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Game 3 tomorrow, 12:35 first pitch. We'll catch you right here, same time, same place. But until then, signing out.